Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. I think we started the last reading off with the Two of Wands too, didn't we? I think we did. This card is about your need for control, you know. This is the card that asks us what things in life can we influence and what is outside of our domain. What is not within our wheelhouse, right? What things in life do we have to just leave well enough alone because we cannot influence them? Well, we can't change other people. We can be responsible for our own behaviors, our own actions. We can try to do the very best. We can control, you know, what we feed ourselves on, what we put into our bodies, into our minds. We can control how often we express our love to the people in our lives. When's the last time you said I love you to somebody, you know? So there's a lot that we can control, but there's a lot that we can't. And I think sometimes it's hard to realize that in some situations, especially if it's involving someone that we care about, sometimes we are powerless to do anything about it. We can control, we can, you know, do certain things. We can express our care and our concern, and we can say, I love you. And we can try to create a safe environment for people or to be welcoming and to accept people, but we can't control what they do. You know, we can open the door for people, but we can't make them walk into our house and hang out with us, you know. We can't bring them into our area if they don't want to be there. You're the kind of person that I feel like you try really hard to do the right thing with people, you know. I feel like you're a very kind person, and I feel like in your kindness you try to reach people, you try to connect with people. They don't always want to connect, you know. And I don't know, maybe this is part of your career or it's part of your charitable work, your kind work, the service that you do to the community. But I feel like you're sort of learning that lesson of, you know, some people are very much worth your time. Other people, maybe you try. If they're not receptive, you don't waste any more time, you know. There are a lot of people that do need you and do want your love and your help and your energy, right? What you're giving out to the world. Let's put this card into some context, yeah? High Priestess. Queen of Wands, Ten of Cups. More fire, a lot of fire energy. Prince of Wands up there now. And very interesting, a Nine of Pentacles. Very interesting energy going this way, all the fire going up this way, right? More fire. More fire, Princess of Wands, Seven of Swords, yeah. The Hierophant, sure. And the Emperor, even more fire energy, right? So we've got a pretty interesting group of fire cards, right? Because if we take the Emperor as the Aries energy, Aries is the Knight of Wands, right? So then we've got the Aries sort of Knight of Wands style energy. We've got the Knight, the Queen, the Prince, the Princess. We've got the entire court of fire cards here, okay? And that's very interesting. So it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of vision. It's a lot of will. It's a lot of this, you know, trying to keep everybody doing what they're supposed to do. It's kind of like you're running a business and you have these employees and you're trying to just get them all to do their job. Some of them want to quit and you're just like, no, get back here. You know, we can't do that, obviously. And so I feel that there really is this, you're trying to keep the team around you in harmony. You're trying to keep everybody sort of with the same vision. And I wonder if this is even that you're coming to terms with people who you don't resonate with, and you're 86. You bring somebody in who does resonate with you, right? Feels like you're a business owner. It feels like you're maybe a new business owner. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with Kevin, aka Mr. Bates, right there on top. I love that show. I should watch that show more often. We're not going to look at that card until the end, but it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. All right, help me out. I'm under the weather. I'm sick today. I'd like you to do some work. You're here, might as well keep you busy, right? Let's look around the room, though. We see a couple of majors. We've got our High Priestess, and we've got our Hierophant and Emperor, right? The Hierophant and the Emperor are really the boss, right? They're kind of, together, it's kind of a scary thing. It's almost just like, I'll do whatever you say, right? I think the High Priestess really is the important energy here, because if we take away most of this stuff, it's really a lot of fire. Even the Ten of Cups is all orange and red, right? It's just so much fire here. And of course, what we want is for all this molten lava, all this magma, right, to solidify into this earth energy and lead to success. This is gain. This is the card of a successful business. That's like things are running, you're getting the revenue is there. Things are working, and it keeps happening. It keeps working, right? Then the High Priestess, I think, really is trying to see things through a different lens. It feels right now with this fire energy that you really are, I feel like a new business owner, a new leader. You've just been given all the power, right? And you're trying to figure out how to use it properly, right? You're trying to figure out the best way to be the boss. Maybe you've just been promoted. Maybe you find yourself at the head of the family. Maybe maybe you started your own business. Maybe you have other people that are in your employ, right? Maybe it's something around the house. Maybe it's whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, I feel like you're finding yourself in the leadership role here, yeah. And what I feel like you really want to do is make them an offer they can't refuse, right? We need to do something more subtle than that. No horses, nothing like that, okay? And that, I think, is the High Priestess energy here, trying to sort of instruct you in a way of dealing with other people in your life right now, because we do have a lot of the court cards. And I feel like the court cards here, they're all fiery court cards, so I feel like they're all related to you in some way. You're either maybe like you all work for the same company, or you're all in the same family, or you're all in the same classroom, whatever. Maybe you're a teacher. But the High Priestess is saying that there's a message for you. There's a different way of doing things for you. There's some information that you need to receive right now. Spirit wants you to be in this position of receptivity, arms open, ready to receive whatever Spirit's telling you. Okay? All this fire energy is very active. You're being asked to be a little passive, to be receptive. Okay? Because there's something Spirit's trying to tell you. And I think that this is a card that says, look, we've got to try a more subtle way of communicating with people right now. We've got to be a little bit more intuitive right now. We've got to try to open ourselves up to alternative pathways, right? Instead of just the fire, and then the seven of swords and more fire, and but you're running a business, right? You're doing something that is there's success at the end of this. So it's something that you have to be in charge of. You have to manage this. Michael Scott, somehow I manage. So, the high priestess is saying we're not relinquishing control, but we're trying to give a little bit more credence or a little bit more attention to some of these other ways of dealing with the people in your lives, right? We do have the Hierophant and the Emperor as our other major arcana energies. Right now, the Hierophant's the energy we don't want. We don't want to be schooled. We don't want anybody to tell us how to do it, right? We'll figure it out. So we're sort of rejecting the Hierophant here as the sort of outside mentor, the teacher. It's kind of like someone has given you the keys to the kingdom, and they said, okay, now let me show you how to use the thing. And you're like, no, stand back. I'll figure it out. And sometimes that's when we hurt ourselves, right? That's when we do something because we don't know how to use this thing. So there's a rejection of anybody sort of helping you right now or teaching you. But as we get to the path of the serpent and we're going up this way here, I think this is the energy that we need. We need to embrace this mentor kind of energy. Because I feel like you're sort of, all this fire energy is just, it's a little bit, I don't know, I just feel like it's new for you, right? And maybe it's just more spiritual or more general than this. And it's just you're standing up in your life. You're giving voice to your feelings and your thoughts more. You're being more assertive. You're in your confident, fiery emperor energy. And the thing about the Capricorn readings, sorry, I'm stuttering. My throat's killing me. There's been a theme in your readings about a history where you've had to dim your shine. A history where you've had to be quiet. You've had to be not so noticeable. You had to tone it down, right? And I think over the last couple of years, we've seen the emergence of this charisma, of this confidence. I'm probably going to get the Sun card here for the mystery card. We've seen the emergence of your confidence and of your spirit. And I think now you're really standing up tall and you're in your energy. And you're speaking your truth and you have your vision and you're not taking any nonsense, right? And so to me it feels like it is kind of a new thing. Finally you're standing up for yourself and you're asserting your will and you're exercising your sovereignty and your autonomy and your agency. And I think this is sort of a message that says, okay, that's very, very good. Let's keep doing that. Let's just add in a little bit of this lunar sort of energy, a little bit of this watery kind of energy. So we have our major arcana energies, right? We've got obviously fire, 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 fire. We've just got a little bit of water back here, right? Otherwise, moving forward, we don't see any water. We've got a little bit of air. We've got a little bit of earth. The water in the background, obviously the reading is dominated by fire, right? But the water in the background is kind of a fed-up energy. This is maybe, in the past, maybe you've yielded too much. And that's what I mean. You dimmed your shine. You did what you were told. You stayed in the background. You didn't make yourself so noticeable. You weren't so loud. Be a little quieter. And you were more pliable. You were influenced by, maybe this was when you were growing up, parents, Maybe it was like in school or something like that. And so I think you've had enough of that. And so you're probably saying, yeah, Spirit, I hear you, but I'm done with that. I'm done with being sort of steamrolled. Right? I'm done with being a doormat. I'm done with being pushed over or pushed aside or ignored. I'm done with being quiet. Right? Fed up. This is the card that says I've had it up to here. Right? And this is in your background. And this, I think, sort of gave birth to this fiery energy. This is a fiery card anyway. Just look at it. Look at the colors, right? This is a 10 of Cups. It shouldn't be orange like this, right? It is a very martial card, and I think it's given way. It's given way to its opposite, right? In this sort of yin-yang kind of thing, mutually entailing. The 10 of Cups, of course, what it's going to do, turn into its opposite. It's going to start up with the fire energy. So we have a 2. It might as well be an ace here. And so it makes perfect sense to me. Okay. The Queen of Wands down here at the bottom is showing that you are driven by purpose. You're not just in this fire and you're wreaking havoc and you're just, being abrasive and temperamental and mean to everybody. No, that's not you. You're a kind person. right? You may be fed up with sort of being steamrolled and ignored and all that stuff. But you're a kind person, and you are driven by an intense purpose. There is a life that you want. This is you living your best life, and this is in the future position. This is what you're after. And so the Queen of Wands is someone who is very proud, very confident, but is very purpose-driven, has the water inside, right? The Queen has the water in there. Even though it's fiery outside, there's still that water in there. So in other words, you still want the connection, you still want the softness, you still want the water energy. But right now it's sort of being overshadowed by all this fire. Okay? And so what we're trying to do is maybe bring out a little bit more of the water and balance the fire and water a little bit. Yeah. Maybe that'll be the Temperance card. So you have a purpose, though. There is a goal that you're after. And I don't think it's a specific goal, right? It's not a 10 of Pentacles, it's a 9 of Pentacles. It's a function. It's a way of life. It's not the details of life itself. This is telling me that you want to live a life of success and prosperity and manifesting your will, your goals, and accomplishing things that mean something to you. You want to live a meaningful and rich, prosperous life. Yeah? It's not about any particular thing. It's the way, it's the kind of life you want to live. It's not what you're doing, but how and why. Right? And I think you've been very consistent with this. And this is a very stubborn Prince of Wands up here. And you're kind of looking at things as if you have to be consistently fire all the time if you want to manifest your life. If you want to get things done, if you want to achieve what you want to achieve, you got to be all fire all the time. And so there's no yielding in this. It's very fixed fire. Right? Very fixed fire. And it's kind of the Queen of Wands that says, okay, I've got this purpose. That means I've got to be on fire all the time. Okay? But the High Priestess is saying that there might be a different way of doing things. Okay? There might be a slightly different way that we need to be open. We need to be open to other energies coming in. Okay? But this is really good. The Nine of Pentacles in the future position. Anybody that I read for would love to get this card in this position, right? This is going to be the biggest win of your life. This is huge, right? And I think the way that you can guarantee this success is by listening to the High Priestess and letting in a little bit of this cooling lunar energy, a little bit of this spirit, a little bit of intuition, a little bit of subtlety. We can turn the fire down just a little bit, or really keep the fire raging, but also bring in some water to go with it. Bring in a little bit of, I don't know. We've got to see what this High Priestess is really bringing you. It feels to me like the High Priestess is bringing you a connection with the softer, yielding side of yourself again. Not in the same way that it was before, but it's almost trying to tell you that you're out of danger now, that you've already made it, you've escaped that thing, that situation, that way of life already. This is, Hicks telling Ripley, ease down, Ripley, ease down, right? Kind of the voice of the intuition, kind of saying, you're out of danger now. You don't have to be this raging fire all the time. Let's enjoy life a little bit. Let's bring in a little bit of the subtlety, a little bit of the magic, right? And so I think that you're going to be achieving this life that you want. But Spirit's kind of like, especially when we look at all this, Spirit wants you to enjoy it, right? This is if we take these away, this is a lot of fire. Even the Hierophant still has those orange colors, right? This is a very specific color palette. These are the cards that are a little bit different, okay? A little bit different. We're going to talk about the Path of the Serpent now, and as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. It's free, and it really supports the channel, and I really do appreciate that, all right? Spirit's saying it's time to leave this past behind you. Okay, this this overwhelming, fed up energy doesn't have to ruin the Cups cards for you, you know? But this is it. This was the only one that we had. Maybe the mystery card, you know, again, we have some ideas for the mystery card. Because I'd like to see a little bit of water being reincorporated in here. It's going to get too hot and too dry out here. We need something to quench our thirst. And I think that's what Spirit's trying to tell you. That, hey, you're going to get thirsty. You're going to get hungry. You're going to get really just exhausted by all of this fire energy. And what we see with your general energy now is just sort of an increase. It's interesting when we look at this, because we start with the Queen, and then it sort of goes down a level to the Prince, then it goes down another level to the Princess. So instead of a maturing of this energy from Princess to Prince to the Queen now, who has some of that water energy in there, it's kind of devolving. So it almost feels like you're getting more primal. You're getting more just sort of instinctive, and really feels like impulsive and rash, and maybe a little bit aggressive, maybe. Especially with that Two of Wands, it kind of feels like your ability to tolerate people is sort of diminishing a little bit, okay? I feel like you don't have much patience at the moment, okay? Maybe that's the message from Spirit here, is that let's be patient. Let's calm down a little bit. Just because somebody is not doing exactly what you think they need to be doing, it doesn't mean that they are steamrolling over you. And because I think it sort of brings up that Ten of Cups stuff for you. And I hate to use the word triggered, but I feel like it does. You know, I feel that that's a very normal and natural thing. But let's look at it through that lunar perspective and say, okay, this person really isn't acting the same way as people did in the past. It's not the same thing. It makes me feel the same way, but I've got to be open, and I've got to listen a little bit. And maybe that's the Seven of Swords that we see in the environment, right? Because I think that there are people that disagree with you in your life right now. And maybe this is team members, family, friends, coworkers, whatever, but this is a lot of different opinions coming in. And this, in a way, is you saying it's my way, the highway. Because again, I think and that's very good energy. I'm not saying anything here is right or wrong, because you're trying to achieve this life. You're trying to achieve this success. So you have to be the boss of your own life. You have to be the emperor and the hierophant of your own life. You know, I think when other people don't want to cooperate or don't want to listen or don't agree with you, they're not on the same page as you, yeah, maybe they can use the door. They can find the exit. You know, I'll show you where it is. But we have to understand that just a little bit of pushback does not mean it's going to be that same thing that happened before. It's not. It may feel, like I said, it may feel the same way, but it doesn't mean that it's exactly what's happening again. Okay? So I think in terms of your communication with the people around you, I think we're a little bit jumpy, you know, a little bit reactionary in our communication. So it could be what Spirit's saying with this High Priestess is, let's understand what's really being communicated to us. Let's listen with a different set of ears. Let's see with a different set of eyes. Because the way we've been hearing and seeing things, it's triggering this past thing in us. Okay? But this doesn't mean, again, we got to stop thinking in those extremes. Just because we're sitting down, we're listening, we're letting people have an opinion and giving us their advice or whatever, like, it doesn't mean we have to follow it. It doesn't mean we have to adhere to their opinions or agree with them or follow their advice or anything. But we don't automatically, as soon as somebody opens their mouth, we just say, shut it, get out of here. You know, we're not that kind of a boss, that kind of a manager or you know, head of the family, whatever it is. Willing to sit down with everybody and listen, and then you're going to make you're kind of like the Godfather, you know. You're gonna grant an audience, but doesn't mean you have to do what they want you to do. Okay. So you know, it's I think it's important that we understand where that Ten of of Cups falls into things. Okay? Now, the next card, now I said this is the card that we need. Now, we're on this path. Now we need that Hierophant. The Hierophant now is sort of the Tom Hagen of your spiritual energy, right? It's sort of that we're listening to the voice of our higher selves now. And I think in your sort of primal, instinctual energy that sort of feeds into our mental energy a little bit, it feels like a little bit of opposition is a threat, and I need to go after it immediately, right? I think between the moon and the high priestess, full moon, psychic, the widening of the psychic aperture, right? The opening of the third eye, the waxing moon, right? And the Hierophant. I think that this is listening to your higher self, not just being so reactionary, but letting spirit communicate with you. Okay, slowing down, calming down some of this fire so that we can really hear and really see. Okay. With the Hierophant too in this position, it's what we don't want when we're over here, but over here we start to realize, okay, maybe I do need a little bit of guidance here. Maybe I can open myself up to what some of these other people who have experience are trying to tell me. Right? Maybe you've just been, given the keys to the business or whatever. And other people are saying, hey, I've run a business. Let me tell you, let me save you some trouble here. And you're like, no, I don't want to listen. I'm doing things my way for once, Yes, but you can still listen to people who have been where you are, who are open. And a lot of the time, we don't like to take counsel from people because, again, it's going to trigger that Ten of Cups, and we're going to feel like people are telling us what to do. Don't tell me what to do. So, hey, whoa, calm down. I'm not. I'm just giving you my experience. I just thought maybe that I can share something that I'd been through in my life that might help you in what you're going through right now. But we see it as somebody criticizing us, telling us what to do, and we're rebelling against that automatically. Okay? So a good emperor is going to listen to the advisor, the consigliere, right? Not always the Godfather, not always going to take the advice. Tom Hagen very often is sort of leaves a little bit dejected from the office. But we can certainly listen to what our higher self is telling us, listen to what the people around us are telling us, especially if, yes, in my higher wisdom, my higher discernment, I know that they've been where I am, they have more experience than I do, maybe I could learn something from them. It doesn't mean that I'm being steamrolled. It's not a black or white either or kind of thing. Let's look at the mystery card. I wonder if this is going to be either an Ace of Cups or the Temperance card, as my guess is. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. Let's see what we have. No, Five of Wands. You're still fighting. You're still fighting. But I think that this, competition is not bad, right? This, the fighting, the wrestling is not always a destructive thing, right? By having a sort of wrestling match with someone else, we're growing, right? We're becoming stronger. We're learning, right? But we have to be willing to engage in it in that way. It's one thing to just sort of push somebody out and shut the door. No, because that's a disengagement. This is a card of engagement, right? This is a card of being willing to listen and argue and wrestle with something with the objective that we're going to reach a higher state of being, a higher harmony, right? What comes after the 5? Well, the 6, And that would be really nice to have, especially with all this fire here, and we got more fire. We're not just fighting just to fight, okay? If we are wrestling with someone or something or with an idea or in a conversation, it's to reach that higher harmony, that higher understanding. There's a transcendent place that we can get to, but only through the interaction with things that make us uncomfortable. And with the Ten of Cups back here, it's kind of saying like, okay, I'm done with anything that's going to resemble that. Nope, no more, never again, right? Because back in the day, I think the Five of Swords wasn't, or the Five of Swords, or the Five of Wands, or the Five of Dis or Cups too. Any of the fives, right? I don't think they were there. Because I think when somebody would push against you, Ten of Cups says you would fully yield, they would steamroll right over you, rather than you fighting back. And between this back and forth sort of pressure, this, wrestling, a greater understanding blossoms. It's just flattened against you, right? And so now it's kind of like you're going to steamroll them before they can steamroll you. And everybody's a steamroller. The world is going to stay flat, The other thing is very cool is that the Hierophant is the fifth mystery of the tarot. So the 5, I think, is important in conjunction with the Hierophant because it's saying that it's through the engagement and the interaction, the wrestling, fighting as equals, both with this aspiration toward the higher harmony, the transcendence, right? It is that spirit of fighting that's going to lead to wisdom, knowledge, education, growth, right? Hierophant stuff. We learn through our engagement with things that make us uncomfortable. We learn by us asserting ourselves and something is pushing back this way and we're in this wrestling match. It's a respect too. Okay, it's not a steamroll. So think about that anyway. And we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there is a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Capricorn Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. If you don't want to watch the extended readings here, you can go to the website, doveandserpenttarot.com. Sign up over there. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.